Hi, third graders. Today, as we wrap up our civil rights lesson, we're going to learn about a very important person in history, but also with the civil rights movement. This person we're going to learn about today, his name is Martin Luther King Jr. So let's go ahead and get started. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Georgia in 1929. At that time, whites and people of color were segregated. Here's another bold word right here. Segregated, divided by or separated by skin color. I think we learned that on our last video with Rosa Parks. Martin's father taught him to always demand respect. Martin was a great speaker and very smart. He won a big speech contest in high school. He was 15 years old when he finished high school in 1944. Now, usually when you finish high school, you're 18, so he finished 3 years early. He went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia. In 1948, Martin became a minister. Now, here's another bold word. So let's go ahead and find the definition. A minister is the leader of a Christian church group. He worked very hard to change segregation laws by giving speeches and leading marches. He told people not to fight and explained ways to change laws in peaceful ways. Sometimes Martin went to jail for his ideas. Despite any consequences from his speeches, he never gave up. In 1963, he gave his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," in Washington, D.C. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act became law. So here's another bold word. Let's go ahead and look what it means. The civil rights, the rights that all people have freedom and to be treated equally. Martin had great influence. In 1968, Martin was killed. Martin Luther King Jr. was actually shot, and that's how he was killed, by someone who did not agree with his ideas. And we also still celebrate him in January. We have a Martin Luther King Jr. Day where we have off of school in remembrance of him. So here's a timeline. In 1929, Martin was born. In 1944, he finished high school and went to college. In 1948, he became a minister. Then in 1953, he married Coretta Scott. In 1963, he gave the very famous "I Have a Dream" speech. Then in 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. And then in 1968, he was killed. So let's look at these questions here. Martin Luther King Jr. was inspirational because, now if I were to scroll up here, I would say he was inspirational because he gave famous speeches. He also never gave up, and he went to jail for his ideas. There's lots of reasons that you could say here. Maybe he was inspirational because he demanded respect. There's lots of different things we could answer for that. This next one says, if Martin Luther King Jr. visited my class, I would. Now, maybe you have a different answer because you're a student. Now, if I were to say, if Martin Luther King Jr. visited my class as a teacher, I would probably ask him to share with the students how we could all become better people and how we could all treat everyone equally and with respect. I think he would be a person that would be really good to share his ideas with students and teachers. I know that he would be an awesome guest to have in my class. Today on your quiz, you guys are going to have a couple of questions about the civil rights lessons that we've done. Not a lot, just a few. You're going to have some questions about Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, the story, the Sneetches that we've read this week, and different things like that. So if you need to go ahead and re-watch and listen to those lessons, I would advise you to do so now. This is the last part before you have to go and take your quiz, and I am sure all of you will do very well because you all work so hard. Thanks for watching.